So eventually, smiles all round for Barcelona. 2 wins out of 2 then to kick off the defence of their title. But boy, were they made to sweat against newly promoted Levante. As we welcome in Luis Garcia joins the show. We'll be hearing from Luis in a moment. But Ali, in the end, they got away with it.
That's one way to put it. I think if you're Barcelona, you go down 2-0 going into halftime. You're thinking, we need to get off to a really good start in the second half. We need a quick goal to give us some momentum. They got that from Pedri. We need a second goal to really be thinking about the possibility of winning this match. They got that from Ferran Torres. But you didn't really get that full-on reaction from Barcelona after the second goal to go and get the third. In fact, in looking at the highlights, you're thinking, wait a minute. The actual good, clean, clear opportunities fell to Levante on the counter. So I think Hansi Flick will be disappointed on 2 things. The first half is not what he was looking for. The end of that first half was certainly not what he's looking for. He would be proud of the reaction of the team in the first 15 minutes in the second half, but I think he would want more from his team to close out the match. So in the end, your assessment is correct, Dan. You get away with it. It's early signals of what this season can be about if you don't defend well, if you don't defend the counter-attack opportunities. Is something that we have seen from Barcelona going back to last year. But what we also know, and the way to spin it if you're Barcelona, is we're never out of a match. We can be down 2-0, and we believe that we can win games, and this is yet another proof that Barcelona is never out of games because they can be explosive in the attack.
Today, you were lucky by a deflection, but maybe you are not going to be that lucky in the next game.
Has he got the personnel at the back, Ali, these days, considering what's happened over the summer?
Well, I don't think the personnel is much different than what it was last year. Now, Íñigo Martínez going to Saudi Arabia doesn't help, but is there a real drop-off between Íñigo Martínez and Ronald Araujo? I don't think that's quite the case. What I do think is important and critical to the success of Barcelona defensively, they're not going to change, right? It's going to be the high line. So what cannot happen is that first pass out of pressure by the opposing team, in this case Levante, that's the one that you have to win. That's the one that you have to disrupt. If you disrupt that, then it allows more numbers to get behind the ball, and now the counterattack opportunities stop. But when your press, your initial press is not good enough, and they break through that initial line of pressure, now it's when you see this whole desperation defensively from Barcelona, in which is 3v3, 4v3, 5v3 going the other way, and you have Balde, mommy. It's like he's catching the wind, hoping to get behind the ball, hoping to make a tackle, and in that desperation is when you give up a handball, give up a penalty, give up an opportunity, give up a goal. The personnel is not that much different. So I don't think it's so much the personnel as much as it is, this is the way that Barcelona plays. It's no different than it was last year. I thought that there would be a similar approach, but in some ways an adjustment.
A little diluted.
Okay, listen, right, we want to play with a high line. But sometimes we take a step back. Sometimes we don't need to be in the midfield line when there is no pressure on the ball. Sometimes we can give ourselves some room for mistakes. It puts a lot of pressure on the players that need to go and press the ball. If you don't do that, you ask yourself, you're asking for a lot of trouble, and they found a lot of trouble today against, let's not forget, Levante's newly promoted. As good as they might have been in La Segunda, this is a newly promoted team that are depending on José Luis Morales at 38 years old, El Comandante, to continue to lead this attacking line. And yet, this attacking line that is limited in terms of the talent level, they created opportunities against Barcelona. Good opportunities, score a couple of goals, could have scored a couple more. Overall, it was disappointing. The one player that was doing something different was Pedri. Above Lamine Yamal, above Rafinha, consistently getting on the ball, consistently finding the right pass, consistently breaking through lines of pressure, consistently getting Barcelona into good attacking positions. And as I see the replay once again from a different angle, Stevie, I would say that yes, he did take a deflection.
No!
My bad, my bad. Regardless, all I would say is that Barcelona needed something different and productive. And big moment of this game changes on that Pedri goal, because it changed the feeling of Barcelona, it changed the way that they approached the match, it changed just the confidence of the group. Had that not happened early on in the second half, I think we're having a different conversation right now. Pedri, once again, a difference maker for this club.
Lamine Yamal, of course, always lively throughout this game, but was key in that third goal, Stevie, with that quick delivery. Talk us through that.
Well, you know, the beauty of it, we keep talking about it, particularly when we watch the Premier League. You know, we're talking about the ball going wide, either not taking the defender on or going backwards. Sometimes you've just got to put the ball in a dangerous area.
Yeah. How was Marcus Rashford, Luis?
He was actually decent in the first few minutes, but he was kind of fading as the game was going on and Levante started making those transitions. He made a few good actions in the first 15, 20 minutes. And then just the Barcelona start going more to Lamine Yamal, trying to find that right side. That is where the danger is always there. But I like it that he was always active. He was always on the move. He was opening on the wide area, trying to receive the ball and go 1v1. He was making a few good runs into the box. He tried to combine into the center, but there was no space. There was no moments. And Pedri wasn't finding those spots that in the second half he was trying to find. So it was all the time about going wide, but very slow and giving the Levante options to always close down. So I'm not going to say that it was a bad game. It was a decent game. I would have loved to see him a little bit more near the box. He was quite wide open, without space, without not even a chance to shoot on target. So I think he was decent, and he will have more minutes. I'm sure of that. And with a little bit more space, I think he could be a very valuable player for Barcelona this season.
Here's the issue that Hansi Flick and Marcus Rashford are going to find with Barcelona. You put him out on the left-hand side. That means that you're dropping Rafinha into sort of a playmaking position, playing that underneath position. Rafinha is at his best when he's able to run beyond defenders and get on the end of services from Lamine Yamal. When you have Marcus Rashford there, that area is already populated. It's already crowded. And so now there is no space for Rafinha to run into. The reason that Marcus Rashford comes out the field is because his presence on the left-hand side was limiting the movement of Rafinha, and it was making it more predictable for Barcelona in the attack. Marcus Rashford gets taken down, and then now Rafinha starts floating into different areas, becoming far more dangerous. If you're Hansi Flick, and you're making this decision, who has the seniority? Who has the benefit of the doubt? It's going to be Rafinha and not Marcus Rashford. So as good as he might have been over the first 10, 15 minutes, the moment he stopped going at defenders, he becomes less and less productive for Barcelona, and you're also making Rafinha less productive. That's why you make the change.
Atleti fans watching on then as it finishes 1-1. Here is Jan Oblak after the game.
What's your message after these first two games? Like you say, not the results that you were looking for.
Of course, I mean, you can never quit. We will never quit, but it's something that we don't like it, we don't want it, and we are all angry about that. I mean, not just the players, all stadium, all fans all over the world, they're not happy with us, and that's totally understanding. I totally understand that, and I really hope that we're gonna do it better. I mean, we're gonna do it because we have quality, we have everything. We need to score more goals and not making mistakes in defense and not concede the goals like today.
So 2 games in, you're already 5 points off Barcelona at the top of the table. Luis, what was really interesting today and really concerning was that lack of drive in the second half, lack of desire, lack of quality, lack of any sort of indication this Atleti team are going to do anything particularly impressive this season.
Yeah, when Atletico Madrid decided to bring Alex Baena was to try to make a creativity of this team. And suddenly he gets injuries and you can feel it that this team is lacking on that. No, Griezmann gets involved, but he doesn't have the sharpness, even though it was one of the best ones in the second half. So you can see that this Atletico in Madrid is still lacking on players. I think Simeone was asked right after the game if this team was missing players, that they could be players on 1v1 situation, players who had skillful attitudes, that they can be players and they can run players over. And he said that, yes, but this team is more about the physical, you can be the player. So he'd understand that right now his team is built on power, is built on runs. He's got Gianluca in one side, he's got in the other side, well, he's changing it sometimes, but players who can run forward, but he's lacking that last pass in the last, that composure when they are inside the box. Is Llorente the one? He was playing as a fullback, arriving in that position in front of goal. Players who are not quite often in those kind of situations. And then you go Solo, that is your main man, the player who has to score 30, 25 goals this season. And the first action scored and the second one he missed. Those kind of the moments are of this Atletico Madrid is pain because they are not going to create much, but in the end, you have to put in the back of the net. So a lot of work to do in this Atletico Madrid if they want to continue running on this league until the end of the season.
A real busy summer though, wasn't it, Ali? A lot of ins and outs. Is this just a case of waiting for everybody to gel?
That would be the easiest, most obvious analysis when it comes to Atletico Madrid and all these players. But I think it goes beyond that, because what we saw from Atletico Madrid today is something that we have seen really over the last couple of seasons. The first 10 minutes, really good, really active, really dynamic, creating opportunities, scoring a goal. The last 10 minutes, the drive that you were talking about, pushing forward, desperation, urgency. So you got the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes. The middle 70 minutes of the match for Atletico Madrid, nothing. No purpose through the midfield, no running, no runs, joining in the attack from the midfield, very little activity in wide areas, very little activity from your front players, looking vulnerable in counter-attack opportunities, looking vulnerable in set pieces as well. And you sense it in the stadium that they are going through the same struggles that we're going when we watch this team play. They get encouraged by the first 10 minutes and they kind of go, where did that team go? And they're kind of thinking, hoping, all right, it's about to happen. No, nothing ever happened until the last 10 minutes when they start pushing, when they get desperate and they find that urgency and hoping that they can run into a goal. It has to be better than that for Atletico Madrid. And the expectation for Atletico Madrid is not unfair to ask this team to be able to beat Espanyol, who barely survived last year, and to be able to beat Elche, who just got promoted.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I hated. How can Simeone, having spent the amount of money he has, basically say, when one guy's not available, we're going to just rely on the physical side of the game? How is that possible when over the last 2 or 3 years, the amount of money they've spent, that you're going to rely on one guy, and if he doesn't play, then you're looking for people to let you off. You get a pass.
You know what else I didn't like? The game ends. It's 1-1. Stadium is booing. Simeone, let's get everybody off the field.
That was interesting. It'd be interesting to see reaction to that.
Let's get everybody off the field, and he goes straight down the tunnel. No, go out there and take it.
Yeah.
Go out there and take it and take responsibility, just like the players should take responsibility. Don't run off the field. Yeah, these fans are expecting something from you because of the acquisition of players that you had, because of the offseason that you had. It's fair to expect something from this team. Don't just say, give them the easy pass and everybody, let's get in the tunnel. No, go out there and take it and go clap for the fans that came to support you.
Luis, you can run off now. Don't worry. You don't have to applaud anybody. Thank you very much to Luis. Of course, he'll continue with us throughout the season as we bring you every single La Liga match live here on ESPN. A couple of other games today. It was a draw between Mallorca and Celta Vigo. And, of course, yesterday, Real Betis with that 1-0 victory over Alaves. Sunday, all eyes on Real Oviedo against Real Madrid. 2-0 then to Spurs. This is 2 wins out of 2 for Frank, as we welcome in our very own Frank. Frank LeBoeuf joins us. Just a reminder, ESPN FC is presented by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming. Stevie, what the heck was that from City?
It was the City of last year.
They're not supposed to be the City of last year.
So everybody, with this propaganda we've been getting, that this City's... Well, that's all it's been.
It's been Naden. Blame Naden.
Well, Naden's been the head of it.
Yes.
And you and I won't take all the credit, you and I told them that they've done absolutely nothing to change the back line. And we saw it today. I mean, when they're not scoring goals, then they are going to be losing games because they don't look as though they know how to keep a clean sheet. And Spurs were really impressive the way they went about it. It was from a solid base because they know that defensively they can be got at. And so they had a real solid back line, solid midfield, and waited for their opportunities. And that's what they did all game. They just broke, and every time they broke, they looked dangerous. And then, of course, you got Trafford making those types of mistakes. Then they basically handed the game to Spurs. At the same time, there was no reaction from Manchester City. I thought second half, right, here we go. The crowd's going to get into it. They're going to be pushing. They're going to be creating chances. They never created anything. I mean, Mamouche had a chance in the first half at 0-0 that might have changed the course of the game. didn't take it, and then he disappeared. Haaland wasn't in the game either. Cherki, I mean, I don't know. Coming off the bench previously in pre-season, and then last week he looked the part. Today he gets a start, and he absolutely did nothing. So this was a great win for Spurs, a deserved win for Spurs, and Man City haven't changed a jot.
Frank?
Yeah, I totally agree with Stevie. I found Tottenham very good and deserving the win. I found Van de Ven and Romero absolutely with a great performance and doing what they had to do and being very strong. I found the front line with especially Richarlison and Kudus, working hard, tracking back. As soon as they lost the ball, try to get the ball immediately after that. And they deserve to win. But for Manchester City, as Stevie said, they didn't change anything. And I'm upset about the second goal. Yes, Trafford made a mistake of giving the ball, but what about Nico? Why Nico wants to give, Gonzalez, why he asks for the ball? And you can see that again, when he really asks for the ball, when he has two guys behind him, and forces the goalkeeper to give him the ball. Yeah, okay, the goalkeeper has a choice and free will to decide whether he's going to give the ball or not, but it's forced by Nico Gonzalez. I don't get it. I don't understand if it's Guardiola asking that. And now we have to talk about Pep Guardiola. I already said, like Stevie, that I put Manchester City fourth in the league at the end of the season because I don't see why they will finish before that. Because they didn't change anything in the middle of the park, at the back, the way Pep Guardiola wants his players to play, it doesn't change. That football is over, and you have to change. Having the possession doesn't mean you're going to win the game, and it's been proven for almost a year now, even more.
I would say that, to Stevie's point, that this is Manchester City of last year. It's not only the defending part, and Frank just mentioned the possession there. The possession of the ball by Manchester City is really poor. By their standards, they're losing the ball in bad areas all the time. Misplaying passes, easy passes, passes that you come to expect Manchester City to complete regularly, consistently, and that's not happening. So it's not just the defending part that it's already bad. In the best of circumstances, when Manchester City were dominating the possession of the ball, if they happened to lose it, they were always exposed to counterattack opportunity because of the way that they set up and the way they try to play. But now you still have the same issues defensively, and you add to that the fact that your possession is not nearly as good as it used to be. So more often than not, you're losing the ball in bad areas. More often than not, teams are attacking you and exposing how vulnerable you can be in transition. Beyond that,
They don't trust each other, do they?
no, absolutely not. And that is it's amazing how connected we are, Stevie. That's exactly where I was going next. You don't see when I give you the ball, I don't know what you're going to do. And I don't trust that you're going to keep it. And so I don't take the next position that I'm supposed to take in order to make myself available to you. That happens with the ball. Without the ball, it's even more troubling. Because when I go and press you, that guy doesn't think that I'm going to get to you. And so therefore, he's not coming behind me. So as I come and press you, and there's not a second line of pressure, you just play right through me, and everybody's running the opposite way, and Manchester City are struggling. And this is not new, to the point that Stevie and Frank were both making. This is not new. It's going back to the middle of last season.
So did we get too excited last week because it was Wolves?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So what has Spurs done differently in these two games than we saw from Postecoglou last season? What has impressed you?
Where do you want me to start? Do you know what Frank's done? He's put even more pressure on Amorim.
Right.
Amorim, albeit had half a season.
How did we get onto Manchester United?
Because
the bias.
Because
Oh no!
Frank has been at Tottenham for 2 seconds, and you 100% can see exactly what Spurs are all about. And not only the way they're trying to play, but the actual culture that they have. That you can see it in them all. They're all quite happy to be nice and solid and be patient. And then when they get it, then they open up and then they play. And And he's done that in such a short space of time that now, particularly Amorim, can't turn around anymore and say, well, I haven't had enough time, or I haven't been able to train, or I haven't been able to do this.
Right.
So Thomas Frank 100% has got a way of playing and a culture at that club already in a short space of time. So whether it's Amorim or anybody else, they can't use that excuse anymore, because Frank has shown you how to do it.
Frank?
Yeah, first I want to say that every time Stevie says Frank, I think he talks about me.
Well,
I don't know.
He's saying nice things, take it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But what I wanted to say, do we have to get carried away, by the 2 games of Spurs when we have all said, when Postecoglou signed that he changed the game, he changed Spurs, that I was much better, and Spurs will go very well very soon. Nothing happened, and Postecoglou has been changed. But I want to believe that what Thomas Frank is doing, it's absolutely fantastic, and I like, because that's more than the tactic. It's more the mentality of the players. What I felt today, which has changed dramatically, where everybody's concerned about the others. Ali was talking about the fact that Manchester City, they don't trust each other. You can feel that everybody at Tottenham knows exactly what to do according to what the teammate is proposing, is offering. And that's what I like. The 4 at the back, Porro, Spence, Romero, Van de Ven, they know what they have to do. And with the work that they do in the middle of the park and the commitment of the people at front, it makes a very complete squad team, and if they carry on like that, well, they're going to surprise many teams, because even Richarlison, which I think is not a right striker, but the way he's involved in all movement, defensively and of course offensively, really impressed me today.
Can I just say though that I don't think we're getting carried away with Spurs.
Okay.
Because the way they're going about it and the way Thomas Frank has got them going, unlike Postecoglou, the way they're playing is absolutely sustainable for the whole season.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's simple. It's not complicated. Mm-hmm. It's basic.
It's like a haircut.
But it's done correct. But it's done at a high level. Oh, wow. And so that's what makes it sustainable.
It is a high level.
Aye.
And tight.
Bits of it disappearing, but so that's why it's not crazy to get carried away, because they can do this all season.
Arsenal then, with the victory, winning at Manchester United and at Leeds. Now, a good start, of course, Arteta's campaign. Go on then, Steve. Big takeaways from this.
Gyökeres.
Yeah.
And the 2 injuries.
Okay. Let's go positive first. Gyökeres.
Yeah, Gyökeres. I mean, this is huge for Gyökeres personally, because all the questions, the price tag.
Yes.
Just every single thing that goes along with it. The unfair criticism we got last week. Well, I thought it was ridiculous that people were pulling him out when Arsenal as a team did nothing to help this guy. He was on his own, and I don't know what they were expecting. And today, well, he showed them what he's capable of. And as I said, it was just a ball played in behind into a wide area, and then from there he just took over. His instinct is to get it as close to the goal and stick it in the back of the net, and that's exactly what Arsenal have been needing over the last 2 or 3 seasons. And then to take the penalty as well, an absolute dream for Gyökeres.
Yeah, you agree, Frank?
I do agree. That's absolutely wonderful for the players and his confidence, and now let's say that his season is launched, and hopefully he's going to be scoring more and more goals. And but otherwise, yeah, I'm a little bit worried. That was yesterday what I was questioning, the signing of Eze, if they need him. Yeah, they need him. Now they need him. They need him very well, very much.
So who was right, Frank Leboeuf?
Yeah.
Who was right?
Yeah, but because of the injury. And it's only fair to say that. No, but I'm very happy that Eze signed for Arsenal. It's going to be a plus for sure. But you know what? They scored 2 goals. When I was watching the highlights, it seems to be an easy game. It seemed to be an easy game for Arsenal. The first half, they were quite slow. I wouldn't say poor, but they were quite slow. Leeds had a very good chance to open the score sheet.
Arsenal 5-0. And the former Chelsea boy is still having a go.
No. It's just that wasn't the standard of Arsenal. Of course, they deserve to win. They did what they had to do, and nothing has to be too much criticized about. But the first half, I said, what are they doing? They don't want to win that game. They're not the Arsenal that I know. So I was a little bit worried. Of course, after they did the job and 2-0 was already over, Leeds wasn't strong enough to cope with them. But it's going to be a big test next week, that's for sure. Yeah. And to see how it works without, of course, Odegaard and Saka, it's a big blow.
Yeah, of course it's a big blow, but it is softened, Ali, by the fact that you've now brought in Eze, who can come in and replace one of your big players.
Yeah, and while he might have thought that he was going to ease his way into the rotation, now he's going to be shoved right into the rotation and say, this is why you're here.
Yes.
And
that's what you want, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. And having an opportunity right away, not necessarily having to earn your place, but actually, you know what? We brought you for a reason. This is the reason. And according to Mikel Arteta, this injury of Bukayo Saka seems to be significant. Those are his words, not mine. I'm thinking, you know what? Now he gets an opportunity to play in a position in which he feels comfortable, to make a difference right away. And that's all fine and well, as long as you do make that difference, as long as you have that impact. If you don't, then it's pressure already on you. How you deal with that as a player, it depends on the individual, it depends on Eze himself. As for Arsenal, how do they deal with the absences of Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka? Well, of course, we just mentioned Eze. But they do feel like a team that can be light in the midfield and that you can take advantage of certain things in the midfield. But while I say that, I'm thinking, and I compare it to a team that we just discussed in Manchester City, I'm thinking, it feels, and I know it's different opposition, but you watch Arsenal against Leeds and you watch Manchester City against Spurs and you're thinking, these teams are not in the same level. You really think that there is a separation between Liverpool, Arsenal, and then the rest, and Manchester City is closer to the rest than they are right now, currently close to Arsenal. I'm encouraged by Gyökeres, not only by the goal, not only by his movement in and around the 18-yard box, but the work rate. The work rate is going to be important, and I think he brings a lot of that to this team with the obsession, and I think I would call it that, the obsession of scoring goals. That's what drives him. Why is that significant? Well, because you when you think about whoever Arsenal have played in that position, Kai Havertz, he doesn't have an obsession to score goals. Gyökeres does.
Eze to come in against Liverpool?
I'm not so sure.
What do you mean?
I'm not so sure he just walked straight in the team.
Well, obviously there's injuries to consider.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
if Odegaard and Saka out, there's no way Eze's not starting.
I think there's more chance of Eze maybe playing in the middle. I'm not so sure that he just walked straight in the team. That's all I'm saying. And Arteta's not the type of guy, I don't believe, that just signs a guy and then throws him in. I just don't. I think
he's got a week to work with him. He knows he's got no Odegaard. He knows he's not no Saka.
Let's just hold our horses and see what happens next week. I'm just telling you, I'm not so sure that Eze gets thrown in.
Well, if that's the case, then who would you throw in then, Stevie?
Well, does 1 year play in the middle instead of Odegaard?
Oh my God! You've got Eze.
I'm just telling you. I'm not so sure he gets thrown in.
Really?
But
yes.
Who would you play though? If you were Arteta?
Well, I think Arteta is one of those guys who's like, well, I can't just throw him in now and blah blah blah, and he doesn't really know us and
doesn't really know us.
Aye, that's what he's like.
That's what he's there for.
I don't disagree. That's what he's there for. But I'm just telling you, the fact that he hasn't played, he hasn't trained. But
he will do. He's got a whole week. He's got a whole week before the Liverpool game.
Arteta is one of those guys.
You've gone mad again. You've gone mad again. Just
because you don't agree doesn't make anybody mad. I'm just telling you.
What you're saying doesn't make any sense. There isn't a big queue of people to come in and replace Saka or to replace Odegaard, is there?
Stick your mouth where your money is then. $20.
Definitely.
All right. There you go.
He's got angry.
There you go.
Here we go.
$20. What about it? And
I can't wait for next week. I can't wait for next week.
Make every challenge for him.
Sid Lowe joins us. Oh, casual Sid Lowe. Look at that. Hanging out. taking photos, hasn't he, for the front page of the Oviedo programme. Looking good. Hansi Flick there, quite calm with the reporters, said, I imagine he wouldn't be as calm with his defence in training this week.
No, and of course this comes off the back of last week when he complained about the way they played despite the fact they'd won in Mallorca. I think he will be concerned about that. And remember at the start of the season, we talked about some of the issues that Barcelona are going to have defensively. Now, I think last season we talked often about the high line. We worried about them getting caught out. We thought that maybe this was something that at some point other teams would work out. And actually, for the most part, they didn't. And for the most part, that tactic was the right one. And it led Barcelona to a brilliant season where they won everything domestically and got within a few seconds of the Champions League final. But what's happened in this summer, I think the most important thing is the departure of Íñigo Martínez. So you've got a central defender who's not just very good in himself, but is the guy that led that line, that led the timing of it, that, if you like, kind of dragged the other three players through it. And I think his absence is a really important one. Now, that's not to say necessarily that they won't find a solution. It's not to say that they won't get that coordination right at the back. But at the moment, they haven't. And it's not an easy thing to do.
Right then, of course, Sid is in Oviedo. It's his club. He's the reason the club is in existence. Yeah. He is the president, the chairman, however you want to sell it. He is the reason that this club is still alive, Sid. It must be a really surreal feeling to be sat there considering everything this club has been through, to think that tomorrow you're playing Real Madrid.
Absolutely. I mean, being here now, for example, in this empty stadium is just incredible. And I think you're right. You think about this, and this is, I've been talking to a lot of people about this since the 21st of June when Oviedo got promotion, that it's not just about the fact that Oviedo are in the first division, the fact that they are in that place. It's the fact that they are around at all, because since they were relegated in 2001, Oviedo have been all the way down to the Tercera División, which might not sound that bad, but that's not the third tier. It's not even the fourth tier. It's a fourth tier made up of 350 clubs across 17 regional divisions. It's essentially amateur football. They've been down in that Tercera División. They've been down in the second division B. They've been in the second division. It's taken them 24 years to get back to the first division. And in that time, on 2 occasions, they've been this close to going out of business. So it's not just about being here tomorrow and playing in the first division. It's about being here at all. And I think the fact that it's Real Madrid, I think helps to symbolise that. A, of course, because of the very basic fact that Real Madrid are the biggest club in the world. And, of course, it reinforces that idea that, OK, you're at the top now. But it's also about, I think, some of the other elements of this. So, for example, the last home game that Real Oviedo played in the first division here was against Real Madrid. It's so long ago that you know who was in the Real Madrid side that night? A certain Stephen McManaman. Wow. That's how long ago it is. It's 24 years since they played them. I think that the fact that Real Madrid, for example, when Real Oviedo were close to going out of business the second time in 2012, Real Madrid bought €100,000 worth of shares to help Real Oviedo out in their moment of crisis. So I think there's a kind of a sense of, I don't know if gratitude is quite the right word. I mean, it absolutely is. But I think tomorrow, kind of this idea of coming full circle. This idea of this is a symbol of having survived. This is a symbol of Oviedo having been able to overcome those difficulties, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well.
Such is Sid's importance with Oviedo. He was the feature on the Bicycle Diaries, but you have an issue, Ali, I believe, with the Bicycle Diaries this week.
Well, it's because lately the Bicycle Diaries have just become the diaries.
You're suggesting there
is no bicycle.
Where was your bicycle, Sid?
There is no bicycle.
Do you know what? I'm really glad that of all the things that Ali could have picked up on, he picked up on the same one as me. It's like, where is the bicycle? When Martin turned up to do this interview, I was desperately unhappy that I wasn't able to be in the saddle with him cycling down the road. Although, given how hot it was probably a good thing, because I would have been a horrendous, sweaty mess instead of just a horrendous mess.
Well, yeah, yes.
I would have thought that at least Charlie is his son's name, right?
Yes, Charlie, yeah.
At least Charlie on the bicycle.
I know, someone on the bicycle.
Somebody on the bicycle.
Do you know what?
No bike at all. I suppose we better talk about Real Madrid as well, Sid. What's the big narrative going into the game from their perspective? And don't say I don't care.
Well, do you know, it's so tempting to say that, isn't it? Real Oviedo playing tomorrow. I don't know who the other team are. Some bunch of losers. You know. I mean, the big narrative, I think, from Real Madrid. I mean, obviously, look, there's a broad narrative, which I think is the construction of this new team, the way that Xabi Alonso is trying to shape it. And I think in that sense, Arda Güler is really important, because he's trying to turn Arda Güler into that player that gives them a controlling deep midfielder, someone who runs the pace of the game, who can change the way that the game is played from a deeper position. And And Alonso was talking the other day about investing time in him to develop him and to mould him. Then I suppose the immediate storyline for Real Madrid is who plays on the right-hand side of midfield. I think we know the starting 11 bar one position. The other day it was Brahim Diaz, and then on came Franco Mastruntono. And he played really quite well. Now, I think there's been a bit of exaggeration. There's been maybe a bit of overexcitement because it was only 25 minutes or so on the pitch. But there is a sense that actually this kid, who's only 18, has just signed from River Plate, is really quite special. I think the doubt tomorrow in the starting 11 is which one of those two plays. And in the end, I suspect it might be the Argentinian.
Where are you watching the game tomorrow, Sid? How many cutaways are we going to see of you again as we did against Villarreal?
Well, I'm working tomorrow, so I'll be pitch side.
Right.
I tell you what, if Oviedo score, look out for the lone pitch invader in the La Liga bib, running on, running on and trying to leap into the arms of leap into the arms of Fede Viñas or Solomon Rondon or whoever scores tomorrow. I will be trying very hard to control myself. I will be being very professional, Daniel.
And who's on your T-shirt, Sid?
This is Tensi, who was Real Oviedo's captain in the back end of the 70s and into. Oh, I'm sorry. There
we go. Beautiful. Right, who is it? Bore us with that.
He was right off.
Now, Stevie is throwing money around everywhere at the moment. He's already got a bet with Shaka that was it Ekitike would score more than João Pedro.
Yep.
And you've now had a bet with me that Eze will not start against Liverpool this weekend, next weekend. Right. Which side of the bets would you be on, Ali, of those two?
Against whatever Stevie's betting on.
Well, it's funny that. Do you remember the last time we had this conversation about a player?
About what player?
How stupid. There's no... Of course Madweki's going to start. First game of the season.
Oh, did I put any money on that, Stevie?
Well, only because I never asked you to.
What, did you put any money on it?
No.
So we're just talking about the bets.
I'm just saying.
Just talking about the bets.
We had exactly the same conversation 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And who was right and who was wrong?
Madweke did start today, so I was right. Frank?
No, he didn't.
Madweke started today.
No, he didn't start the first game of the season. That's what you said.
He wasn't ready. He had a little niggle.
That's what you said.
He had a little problem.
Oh, he had a little problem?
Yeah.
So he actually came on in the game. So it couldn't have been that bad a problem.
Couldn't start.
What in your betting history in this show? What's your record so far?
Yeah, he's not won a bet, I believe.
Okay, well that's maybe he's due. Maybe he's due.
Oh, I'm in a bit of a...
Well, you had the $50 bet with me,
right,
which you lost.
Right.
I can't remember you having many others, actually.
Yes,
normally. Don?
No.
Kieran? Yes, you did. Yes.
I did the bet with Kieran.
There we go.
Yeah. Did you win that one?
Yeah, I did, yes.
All right, okay.
There we are.
Yeah.
Frank, which bet, would you take both of those bets? That Ekitike would score more than João Pedro, or indeed, Eze will not start against Liverpool?
I think Stevie will be wrong for Eze. I think Arteta has no choice but putting Eze on the weekend. So I think I will go for that one, yeah.
Yes, there we are.
I'm quietly confident, boys.
You seem very proud of yourself.
I lost all my questions.
I'm pretty sure, because here's the thing.
Okay.
Bukayo Saka won't start.
Correct.
Right? Which means Madueke will play on that side. I think Odegaard might be okay. He might recover. And
Dr. Stevie.
If he does,
okay, Dr. Nickel.
If he does, then he'll start.
But Stevie, that's not the same. That's not the same bet. If Odegaard plays, the bet doesn't stand.
The bet is.
If Odegaard plays, the bet doesn't stand because it's not the. That's not the same problem.
Is Thomas Frank proving he's one of the best managers in the?
That's not the bet. The bet is he won't start.
Okay, right.
It's got nothing to do with anything else.
Is Thomas Frank?
If the others are injured.
Is Thomas Frank proving he's one of the best managers in the Premier League now that he's at a club with money? Stevie.
Well, I must admit, I was a little unsure when they gave him the job to start with.
Okay.
Primarily because I thought the type of players that Brentford bring in suited the way he coached. So I wasn't 100% sure whether that would translate, dealing with different types of players. But obviously I was wrong. And so Thomas Frank has absolutely put himself right up there with some of the best coaches. To do what he's doing so quickly is fantastic.
Ali, start, bench or drop. Which team should be most worried about this weekend's results? Atleti, City or Bayer Leverkusen?
I'm going to go start Atletico Madrid.
They got the most worries?
I think we're seeing the same thing from Atletico Madrid.
Sure.
I think we were expecting better, and that's where perhaps I have my concerns here. We're expecting better from Atletico Madrid, and they have not played good opposition. They played Espanyol and Elche, and so that's concerning. And this game against Elche was at home. Manchester City, I'm going to bench, and I just didn't see any improvement from what they did last season as to what they have been this year. And so that's why it doesn't quite reach the level of Atletico Madrid, because Atletico Madrid was supposed to be different. And Bayer Leverkusen, I'm selling all of that, because once you see who left the club and the amount of players that left and the manager left, it was an exodus of players, migration totally away from Bayer Leverkusen. And also, who came into the club in Erik ten Hag, it's not a surprise that they've lost their first game.
Stevie, you blame Cole Palmer's injury on the Club World Cup.
What?
Will Stevie also blame the Club World Cup for injuries to Saka and Odegaard?
I didn't blame Club World Cup for Cole Palmer's injury.
Didn't you?
No.
No?
No.
Oh. I assumed it was put in here for a reason.
No.
No.
No, I absolutely did not.
Okay. Frank, today was Luka Modric's first start with Milan and had the highest player rating on the team today. Does that say more about Modric's quality or the lack of quality from the rest of the team? They lost 2-1, of course, today.
It's hard to make a statement after one game. You know, let's say I didn't see the game, so it's hard to criticize and to judge. Luka Modric is a fantastic player, and of course he's not that young, so he's going to give his best. He always did, and you can trust that he will give 100%. The rest of the team, I don't know. I mean, it's always harsh, you know, after one day to say, well, okay, everybody's bad. Modric came, but he's not good enough or whatever. Well, he's the only one. You know, let's see how it works. Let's say that it was an accident and see if it would be a bad season for AC Milan or not.
Why doesn't Pep just put a midfielder in goal, Ali?
At some point, if you're in goal for Pep Guardiola, you have to have enough confidence in the way that you see what's in front of you and how you process information. And regardless of what the manager is asking you to do on the totality of play in general, there are moments in which playing the ball short is not on. But the only person that can make that assessment is, in this case, the goalkeeper with the ball at his feet. Maybe because you're new and you're Trafford and you're trying to do exactly what you're being told, you feel the pressure to play this ball short all the time. But I tell you what puts more pressure on you, giving up goals like this.
Right.
So I have to imagine that Pep Guardiola would rather have the conversation with him, hey, most of the time, let's try to play it short, rather than saying, why are we giving up that goal? You don't want to give up goals in this manner, and I don't think Manchester City can afford to do that, but Trafford is the one that can make that decision and play beyond that pressure.
I had Ronnie Moran in my head there again.
Ronnie Moran, assistant to Kenny Dalglish at Liverpool, of course.
So clearly that's how they play when they do their practice games. They do all the preparation. The goalie throws it to the middle, it comes back, the whole thing. Now, if Trafford did that and Ronnie told him to play a ball into the middle to get it back to play it, and Trafford went up to Ronnie and said, but you told me to do it, Ronnie would go,
yeah.
Really? If I told you to jump off a 20-story building, would you do it?
Right.
That's exactly what he would have said.
Exactly.
Right, Frank, concentrate. This is quite a long-winded question. Get ready. Consciously or unconsciously, do adults adjust their play when up against a 15-year-old? For example, would a defender be more cautious than usual out of fear of potentially injuring them, or do you treat them like any other adult? That, of course, in reference to the youngster coming on today for Arsenal.
No, and I'm going to be very hard on that young player. I mean, I was very happy to see him coming, Doman, but you come to my game, you come to an adult game, I'm going to teach you, some lessons. I'm going to be even harder than anybody else.
Right.
To tell you that it's not going to be an easy world that you are coming in. Really, I was very happy to see that young guy. And when I'm out of the game, I always want the best for the players. But I never been confronted to that kind of players, but I would have played against a player like that. I can tell you, the first ball that he touches, if I'm close to him, the guy's in danger. He would have been in danger. Just for me to make sure that the guy will respect me and not start having fun.
It's the complete opposite of the question.
Yeah. It's a very professional answer, isn't it?
Straight off the bat, this 15-year-old is not going to make me look stupid today.
Okay.
And I'm going to do exactly what it takes to make sure that doesn't happen.
There's actually, in Major League Soccer, there is precedent in all of this with Freddie Adu. And in the case of Freddie Adu, it was even worse because MLS was building all of their marketing package around Freddie Adu. So it created, even before he stepped on the field, it created resentment.
It was a target on his back.
Absolutely, it created resentment. It built a humongous target around his back. And so players were not only in to physically get into the face of Freddie Adu, they're also there to send a message that is filled with, this guy, just walking in, is making more money than I have in building this league and giving him an opportunity to play. He's gonna know, maybe he's gonna make the money, maybe he's gonna be great, but today he's gonna get his backside handed to him.
Last question, and it's continuing that kind of theme, Ali. Do you guys believe giving lots of admiration to young players before they've achieved anything helps them to develop their skills or hinders them from getting any better because they think they're already a superstar before they achieve anything?
There has to be a balance here. You have to nurture the talent and recognize that there is unique talent, that this player can do special things. So as teammates, you recognize that, but just as quickly as you recognize that and you acknowledge that, you take it away from him. And you take it away not by being in his face or demeaning towards him, just joking around in the locker room. Right. Just treating that player as a 15-year-old, the same way that you would treat another 15-year-old. And any 15-year-old that walks into a professional locker room walks into a hostile environment in which you better be ready to have a thick skin. Right. You better be ready to deal with the jokes. You better be ready to handle the day-to-day. And no better way to keep a 15-year-old humble than being in a locker room, and a good locker room at that.
Maka talks about it when he was with your boys.
It's just, you've got little hand grenades in your pocket and you're just going like that. Every now and again. Just every now and again, just to keep them on the toes. Pull the pin.
That is it. That brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you very much. ESPN FC returns to your screens tomorrow. We'll be reflecting on Real Madrid against Oviedo.